before.
I've
always felt that way, but couldn't put words to it, you know?
We work well together. We bounce ideas off of each other. I think we get further together. We just do. And like I said, I think we both have different things to bring to the table that complement each other. And I think that we should be doing it together because it's all about collaboration rather than competition. Like in life in general, just collaboration, you know?
Working together. We're all in this together, right?
Yeah.
I think another thing too is we do have a lot of different views and we respect each other.
Yes.
And we can see, just because we don't agree, it doesn't mean that we don't see where the other person's coming from. Like, I can see how you got there. I can see why you feel that way. It's just, I don't feel that way. Yep. And that's fine. And I actually think we like that about each other.
I think you have to have that, like not just have people in life around you that are yes men.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Where does that get you? I think people that are going to challenge you to think a little bit differently. Maybe just shift your perspective when you need to.
Yeah.
Because we all need that sometimes.
Absolutely. And it doesn't mean you have to think alike. It just means that you have to slow down and see where other people might, understand it. Understand where people are coming from or how they got to where they are, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good, actually.
I think it's awesome. I think it's really necessary in life. And I think it's something like relationships. I'm very excited to announce that instead of being a guest on the Foundations podcast, as we've done in the past, Britt Kelso and myself, Carrie Woodcock, have decided that we're better together. So what used to be the Foundations podcast is now the Complete Wellness podcast. So stick around and join us as we take heartfelt, deep dives into every aspect of wellness, mind, body, and spirit. From nutrition and stress relief to meditation and self-discovery, this is your place to learn, grow, and feel supported in creating a balanced, fulfilling life. Been an event-filled last year or two, and it's been a minute since I've done too much of this podcast. I'm going to fill you in a little more as I move forward with some of the changes that have been happening at Total Transformation over the last year or so. But today, I'm just going to cover the basics. I'm Carrie Woodcock, owner of Total Transformation, ACE Advanced Health Coach, personal trainer, and behavior change specialist, Precision Nutrition Level 1 coach, mental well-being certified fitness professional, and your host of the Foundations podcast. A quick history for you. I launched my personal coaching business, Total Transformation, in 2013. It's hard to believe it's been 12 years. In one way, it feels like yesterday, but in another way, it feels like it was a lifetime ago. I've gone through so many changes in those 12 years, and I like to think that those years have helped me to learn, grow, and become a better coach. And since I've changed so much since the beginning of this journey, I figured it was also time to revamp Total Transformation a bit while I was at it. First, I'm excited to say that I've gotten my new website up and running, which you can find at totaltransformation.life. And of course, that'll continue to evolve, but you can find details about some of the services that I offer there. My plan was to wait a little bit longer before I relaunched the Foundations podcast. But today, I decided to dive right into one, mostly because I needed the medium to share a story with you. And I also wanted to share a guided meditation that I thought might be helpful. You can find the blogs that I write on my website. And if you've read the blogs that I've put out in the last couple of weeks, you might already know that every week I have a Monday morning meditation and self-improvement workshop that I lead. I'm going to share a little bit about the topic of this week's blog here in this podcast quickly, but you can check it out in more detail if you visit my blog directly on the website. If you visit the website, you can also find a free PDF download of Unlocking Your Inner Wisdom, a guided meditation for trusting your intuition. But because some people prefer to read and some people prefer to listen, I decided a PDF wasn't enough, and I wanted to also create an audio version of the guided meditation. So here I am jumping back into the podcast because I wanted to put out a guided meditation for anyone out there that feels like a PDF document just isn't enough. So before we get into the actual guided meditation, I wanted to give you just a quick backdrop. At the beginning every week when I get to work, my first task is to prepare the materials for my Monday morning meditation and self-improvement workshop. I create the guided meditation and prepare some talking points for conversation, but I also make sure that I leave enough room to allow the discussion to evolve as the group engages. A lot of times I find that I prepare more thoroughly for that workshop, but what happens is that the conversation shifts in a different direction than I anticipated. As a result of that, I've learned that it's more beneficial for the members of the group, as well as myself, if I let go of some of that control and let the group guide the discussion. I begin every Monday morning workshop with a daily reflection. Lately, I've been pulling a lot of those reflections from a book that's written by Shakti Gawain called Reflections in the Light, Daily Thoughts and Affirmations. I want to quickly share the initial reflection that started our discussion this week. July 28th. Get the message. If there are problems in your life, it means the universe is trying to get your attention. It's saying, hey, there's something you need to be aware of, something that needs to be changed here. If you don't pay attention, the problems will intensify until you finally get the message and start to listen more carefully to your inner guidance. If you learn to pay attention to small signals, you will learn from them and your problems will gradually be solved. And the accompanying affirmation that goes with that is I listen to the small signals and learn from them. So when we start the workshop, we take turns reading through the reflection. First, one of the group members usually reads it aloud for us. Then a lot of times I repeat it again, just so we have time to listen and absorb the words. Once we all digest the reflection, then we open up the floor for discussion. Over the last 12 years that I've spent as a personal coach, I think one of the most valuable skills that I've developed is becoming comfortable with silence and becoming a better listener. In my role, I believe it's crucial to let go of that control and allow the conversation to unfold naturally. My responsibility or my job is to create enough space and a safe environment for individuals to feel comfortable sharing the emotions that the reflection brings up for them. That day, as a group, we discussed the urge to fill the silence instead of just embracing it at times. To create enough space to allow our thoughts and feelings to surface as they need to. And I've found that this approach leads to a less directive and more empowering workshop when you let that happen. So as we sit in the silence, if I notice after a short while that people are having difficulty finding words to effectively express themselves, I usually kick off the conversation with an example of my own, which is exactly what happened that morning. So I mentioned that when I face challenges in my life, I often turn to journaling. This has been a practice of mine for many years. It helps me organize my thoughts and discover meaning and understanding. And when I feel like there's changes that are necessary, that's when I move to foundations, because that's what helps me in transforming those desires into actionable steps to implement change. After I shared that, one of the group members then chimed in, and he said, perhaps you could simply sit in silence and see if the answers emerge. What an awesome response. And one that really should have come to me because I was there to lead a meditation workshop. But it was that response that guided the rest of our workshop and meditation that morning. So we started the following discussion by asking ourselves, what is intuition? And do you have faith in your intuition? I shared that I hadn't always trusted that inner voice in the past, but now I've come to rely on it. I feel like when something is not right, my intuition lets me know. I don't always know what the problem is, but I can sense, I have this feeling in the pit of my stomach that there's something bothering me. But I also shared that what the group member had said, that maybe we should just sit in silence and let the answers emerge. I didn't think I really did that. I went to journaling, which I do consider to be somewhat of a meditative practice for me. However, I never just sat in the silence and checked in with my own intuition. I find that in the recent years, I've really become very action-oriented, and I always want to put it into a plan, and I want to figure out how I'm going to make these changes in my life. But maybe before I reach that stage, I need to spend a little bit more time just sitting in that silence, sitting with my inner voice and allowing whatever feelings I'm having to emerge. In the rest of the group discussion, we also talked about meditative practices. For me, that is journaling, but there can be a lot of different practices that are meditative. It's not always the typical image of somebody sitting with their legs crossed, hands on their lap, and their eyes shut. It might be experiencing activities that you enjoy, such as journaling for me, or running, or walking, or playing music, or any other peaceful pursuit. All of those things can also be meditative. Anything that calms your mind and allows space for your insights to surface. We exchanged some ideas for different activities that we could try in the next week to practice allowing these insights to emerge. We wrapped up the workshop by reviewing the readings that I had provided for the upcoming week. I always like to make sure that everybody understands them and that they're ready to tackle them independently. And it turned out the rest of the reflections for the week centered on trusting your intuition, seeking inner guidance, and staying true to yourself. Lastly, we engaged in a brief 5-minute meditation that centered on developing a growth mindset, because that was the one that I had prepared. But after we finished that meditation, I told the group that I wanted to develop and record a meditation focused on trusting your intuition, because that fit more closely with the direction that our discussion took during our workshop. And we all agreed that it was something that we thought would be advantageous to have. I shared one more thought with the group as we were leaving that day, and I let them know how significant the Monday morning discussions were to me. I feel that they really help establish a positive mindset to start my week. I get to work on Monday morning and everything can become hectic so rapidly, and without dedicating that time to self-improvement or taking a few minutes, just a little while to reflect, I feel like that taking that time to reflect and focus my energy at the beginning of the week really changes the outcome for the rest of my week. I really believe that it provides me with a solid foundation to handle the rest of that hectic, busy work week. After the workshop ended and for the rest of the week, I kept thinking about our conversation that morning. And I started working on preparing the guided meditation on trusting your intuition that I had promised. So as I got it written up and recorded, I decided that I also wanted to share it here in the Foundations podcast, because I feel like it could be beneficial to you as well. And again, if you want a printout of that meditation, just go to the website at totaltransformation.life, and you can find the free download for the meditation there. So there's a quick background for you. Now let's get right into the meditation, unlocking your inner wisdom. Welcome to this time of reflection and renewal. Choose a position that feels most comfortable for you, whether sitting or lying down, and softly close your eyes. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your lungs to fill with fresh air. And then slowly exhale through your mouth, releasing any tension or stress. As you inhale and exhale slowly and deeply, focus on your body. Notice the ground under you, offering stability and support. Let yourself relax into this support, letting go of any tension or discomfort. Now direct your attention to your gut or your intuition. Sense the energy of growth and transformation flowing through your body. With each inhale, gain awareness. And with each exhale, let go of doubts or fears. Recognize any feelings of discomfort you might be having. Spend a moment sitting quietly and just listen to your inner voice. Pose these questions to yourself. Is there anything that I need to be aware of? Is there anything that needs to be changed here? Is there anything that I'm not paying close enough attention to? Seek assistance from your inner guidance. Sit quietly, take a few deep breaths, and concentrate inward. Request help or guidance from your inner wisdom, either silently or aloud, to address any problems that you've become aware of. Quietly tell yourself, I have faith in my intuition. I am unlocking my inner wisdom. As I grow to trust my intuition and tap into my inner guidance, I allow room for the answers to arise naturally. Imagine yourself in the future, feeling at ease with recognizing and trusting your intuition, and noticing when it tries to highlight something important. Observe the positive transformation this brings to your life. The new skills and strengths you've acquired, and the challenges you've surmounted. Experience the satisfaction and pride that come with your development. As we wrap up this meditation, take a moment to appreciate yourself for investing time in your personal growth and enhancing your self-love and self-awareness. Recognize that this process is not a single event. but rather a continuous journey. Every day offers new chances for growth and self-discovery, enriching your life with infinite possibilities. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, slowly open your eyes. You might not receive an immediate answer. Continue with your daily activities, but remain receptive and attentive to your instincts. When you sense what feels correct, follow that intuition. Thank you for sharing this meditation moment. May your path of personal development be rich with insight and transformation. Anything is within your reach when you're standing firmly on a solid foundation. Thanks for checking out the podcast and meditation. I hope that you can gain something from it. And I hope that you take a few minutes to stop and connect with your intuition today. I know that I sometimes get swept up in the day-to-day, and I don't always take the time to do that. But my weeks seem to go a lot more smoothly when I do take the time. And you can look for updates, changes, and announcements as I continue to revamp Total Transformation. My plan is to continue to post blogs and add podcasts, and you can find all of that on the new website, totaltransformation.life. Remember, anything is within your reach when you're standing firmly on a solid foundation. The Foundations podcast is a Total Transformation production, written, hosted, and produced by yours truly. And you can check out my new website at totaltransformation.life to learn more about the services that I offer.